I'm Kesenya, and thank you so much for joining me for my Astro Weather Report this week. I'm your Astro Weather Girl. Thank you also to all the beautiful new subscribers who've joined my channel. I'm delighted to have you as part of my Astro community here. I endeavour to make my Astro community one of safety for people, so feel free to share with kindness, with love, with compassion and insight your journey in the comments section. And I do try to keep sort of the energy vampires away as much as possible, but it is lovely to have you here as part of our beautiful energetic online YouTube community. Well, what a week this is in the sky. Oh my God, it is just all happening now, and it's not going to end anytime soon. We've got some really big conjunctions and configurations coming up over the next few weeks, and this week's no exception. In fact, there's just so much going on in the skies at the moment that I've actually split my Astro Weather Report up into 2 videos this week. So lots and lots of information for those of us who want to learn astrology and understand it better, or just simply to know how to navigate these energetic times with as much grace and aplomb as we can muster. So thanks for joining me. This is one of 2 Astro Weather Reports for this week. Do check out the other for a bit more information about the hysteria that's unfolding right now, and also information on how to deal with it and create better immunity in your own life. Well, let's take a look at the Astro Weather, and as you can see, it's a very, very interesting week in that all the planets are falling in one hemisphere of the chart. So, for example, if you can see here, we've got all the planets falling on that side of the chart. Now, this is going to affect us all quite differently depending on what our rising sign actually is. The rising sign determines where the planets fall in the rest of your chart. So when we get to the all signs breakdown, this will be important to note. But I can tell you right from the get-go that anyone with Aries rising, it's going to be a week where you are going to be very heavily focused on asserting your self-will, making choices and decisions for your life that you will instigate to create the life you want, the relationships that you need, the career that you desire to have. Your decisions now, if you are Aries rising, can be very beneficial for your life because they will be able to be enacted. It's through a sense of self-will and self-focus and self-assertion, these are things you Aries rising people are very good at, that you will be able to generate the action that you want in your life. Quite simply, these planets falling on this side, I'll just draw the line down the middle, that might help us see it clearly. Planets falling in this hemisphere of your chart, all the planets are there. That's going to help you to channel, what's it called? The law of attraction. Because when we have all planets in this side of the hemisphere, what we think we can create. As what we will for, we can receive. It is the law of attraction when we have all the planets here. So your decisions, your choices, the things you do will affect your life. No, it's not a case of, waiting for, fate to move its hand for you guys. If you want change, you've got to take it now. You can make it happen if you're Aries rising. Similarly, I should use my arrow, shouldn't I? If you have the opposite, if you have Libra as your rising sign, to a lesser extent the sun and the moon, but yes, Libra as your rising sign, then all the planets for you are going to be falling in the hemisphere of fate. For Libra rising people, this is a fated week. A week where, you can decide and want and long for what you think should happen all you want, but fate will have its way. And you've got to, this is for you guys, you need to trust the universe, trust in destiny, trust that the universe has your back. And really it does. And you will notice a lot of fated events unfolding for you this week. Now, also, this is going to affect Sagittarius Capricorn, because if you happen to have the sign Sagittarius or Capricorn, you guys are going to experience all these planets falling under the horizon for you this week. in the chart. So what this means is that you're going to feel a little bit more introverted. If you're Capricorn rising or Sagittarius rising, you're going to feel a little bit more introverted. You're going to need time to process things, to incubate your ideas, and you're going to want to probably detach yourself a little bit from other people in some way, whether that's willingly or whether you get sick and have to go into isolation. See my other video where I talk about all that sort of thing. But this is where these planets indicate that you're going to be much more inward focused, looking at the self, looking at your life, looking at your world, your feelings. It's deep introspection that's occurring for you, while the opposite is true of those who happen to have Gemini or Cancer as the rising sign. There they are. That puts all the planets in the hemisphere above the Earth, up in the sky, visible for you guys this week. That's where all the energies are falling. So for you, it's all about external processes, interacting. It's a good time to go and, socialize if you can manage to do so with all the restrictions in place. But you can contribute a lot to society now. You guys, Cancer, Gemini people, are the ones that have something to give out to the world right now. You guys are the ones that can seek success externally at this time. So the focus is more about, what are people doing? How's the community functioning? What can I offer? How can I serve? How can I show up? And about creating success for yourself also as well. So that's the first little piece I wanted to explore in the chart. It's a very interesting week. This doesn't happen all that regularly when you get all the planets in one half of the horoscope. Anyone born at this time is also going to carry that energy permanently in their life for the rest of their life, actually. But we have other things happening this week. It's a busy week, lots of conjunctions, lots of influences, and the first one's occurring on the 20th of March. This will be Jupiter and Mars making a connection. Here they are here. Jupiter and Mars conjunct in the sign of Capricorn, where Jupiter's been there since roughly December. Mars has recently moved in. Mars is exalted in the sign of Capricorn, so it's feeling right at home. It's feeling energized. It's feeling powerful. It's in a house of a friend. It's working for Mars to be there. Mars is doing good stuff in Capricorn. Jupiter, not so much. Jupiter's maybe like feeling like he's not really at the right party, that things are a little bit uncomfortable. So his energy is a bit more subdued. It doesn't express as strongly as Jupiter would in another sign where it feels at home. So that's what's going on. So Mars is going to be the more the stronger of the two, but both energies combined are going to bring us some interesting influences. It's an energy of courage, which is Mars, meeting the energy of expansion and growth. So you can, take out of that this is a week where your courage and your courageous actions, the things that you undertake that are, full of pioneering spirit and valor and instigation, can actually cause expansion and growth in your life, especially on this day. So if you've got some situation in life that requires a lot of courage, requires you to be a bit of a warrior, to take a bold step, then save that action for the 20th of March. That's what it will be at Australian Eastern Standard Time. You might need to check an ephemeris if you live in other parts of the world, but March the 20th is when these two will conjunct, and they're going to bring this energy of courage resulting in expansion. It's going to expand your life, grow your life, and bring prosperity to your life. This is particularly true if you happen to be a Pisces rising person, because for Pisces rising, Mars is their indicator of money in the chart. For a Pisces rising person, I'll show how this works. For those of us who are Pisces rising, here we are. Pisces is the rising sign. And this is all in my Basics of Hindu Astrology webinar. If you're interested in learning more about wealth indicators, I go into all that plus a lot of other things. But for Pisces rising, Aries is ruled by Mars, second house of finances and the money that you make. And also the ninth house of luck is ruled by Mars. So for those of us who are Pisces rising, Mars is a very important indicator of financial well-being in our charts. And here it is combining with Jupiter. So we might see, if we're Pisces rising, a lot more, if we put our courage into action, we might see a lot of benefit, especially as Jupiter happens to rule our sign as well. So potential benefit here, particularly for Pisces rising people, through energy and courage being put into life and then seeing an expansion from that. But for all of us, we can expect that this energy will bring more self-confidence into our life. Jupiter will expand what Mars wants to do, the work Mars wants to do, and that can bring a greater, not a sense of ego so much, it's not ruled by Mars, but more that sort of courage to put ourselves out there, to take a step, and giving us that confidence to move our life forward. Jupiter can do that. We might actually feel physically stronger. You know, up until now, maybe, you know, the thought of going for a jog around the lake was just too much and we've just contented ourselves with a bit of a strut instead. Now we might actually get the running shoes on and, you know, make a go of it because our bodies are feeling stronger right now. Mars conjunct Jupiter. Our energy levels can increase a lot. We can feel more enthusiastic and amped up and on fire and alight in some way that we mightn't have felt for a long time. We can also be a bit more direct. Now, this applies to all areas of life, but we might notice it particularly strongly in areas of love, areas of work, you know, areas of any interactions that we have with other people. We're going to be more direct. So our relationships with children, and our workplaces, with our bosses, with our co-workers, in our friendship circles or our social groups, we're going to be a bit more direct, and we can see positive results from being more direct at this time. Mars is to be direct, to be forthright, to just say it as it is. Jupiter expands that and gives it a positive tone. And of course, Mars, being in its exaltation, can see this very strategically play out for benefit in our life rather than resulting in volatile, you know, implosions and explosions with our relationships. Rather the opposite, we have a strategic and sort of military almost like approach to being direct, and it serves our purposes, and Jupiter blesses the results of our interactions now. So that's the first thing that's happening this week to note. The second thing, and this is the biggie, the exciting one, the one that I look forward to every year, and that is occurring this year on the 22nd, my time in Australia, Australian Eastern Standard Times, 22nd of March. We've got the sun moving into the sign of Aries. It's the Astrological New Year, and around this time is also the equinox as well, the beautiful autumn equinox in the southern hemisphere and the spring equinox in the northern hemisphere. This will also indicate in Chinese astrology the year of the rat. So I'm going to talk a little bit about those things now. Sun moves into Aries. Aries is the energy of the one. It's the first sign of the horoscope. It's the beginning of the astrological new year. So the energy of one is that of new starts, new beginnings, instigating something fresh. So we can expect that something fresh is going to happen. Thank God, because I get the feeling that we're all a bit sick of, my God, the status quo of things right now, the upheavals and the craziness. Now, it doesn't mean that everything's going to be hunky-dory and a-okay. We're still working through a lot of collective karma right now. But this sun into Aries is going to give a fresh start, new opportunities, new beginnings for us. In fact, it's actually a really good idea as the sun moves towards Aries. So in the lead up to the 22nd of March, while the sun is moving through the last degrees of Pisces, I would recommend doing a cleanse, doing, you know, Pisces has connections to the idea of dissolving and letting things go, of endings and tying things up. Doing the inner work to cleanse the body is really great right now. Do a juice fast, or do some sort of, not so much purging, that's seen by the planet Pluto, but to dissolve anything unwanted, to let go and release and end certain things. So cleansing, detoxifying, doing some sort of spiritual meditation that cleans your chakras out, or energizes your spiritual mind. It's a great time for doing that, for releasing any unwanted energies and attitudes and approaches to life. They can go now in preparation for the 22nd of March, when the sun moves into Aries. We get a brand new start and a brand new chance to turn over a new leaf. Now, it's also a really good time of year to do New Year's resolutions. They will stick now because you're beginning something fresh, beginning something new. Around the time of Christmas and New Year, when we look at, New Year resolutions in a Western calendar, Gregorian calendar, it's actually, difficult to make our intentions stick, our New Year's resolutions stick, and we can all vouch for that. We've all done New Year's resolutions at New Year that have got nowhere a week later. But now is the time, as we start fresh with this new energy. If we work on releasing things beforehand, then we've got space for the new to enter in. When the sun goes into Aries, not only can the new enter in, but we can make new intentions, set new intentions, knowing that the astrology, the chart, the stars, the sun is backing us up with our intentions and our new beginnings to make them last and endure for the year ahead. So do take the time at equinox or astrological new year to endeavor to get involved in those sorts of things. Now, what's really interesting, I'm going to talk a bit about the year of the rat in just a minute. The year of the rat is the first sign in the Chinese horoscope as well. The rat is the first animal in the Chinese horoscope. But this year, we're in the sign of the rat, which is a number 1 year. Again, so we're getting a double 1 energy of new beginnings, fresh starts, being instigators and pioneers and establishing something fresh. The energy of 1, the energy of the year of the rat. So it's a very big year. This ties in a larger scale sense with everything that's going on in the skies. 2020 is seeing a shift away from the old and into a whole new paradigm for humanity. And there's no coincidences that we are in a 1 year. A year of the rat, first animal of the Chinese horoscope year. So from now on, we're actually in the astrological year of 2020. Everything else has been a build-up, and now it really kicks in. So get ready. There's going to be a lot of changes. There's going to be a lot of redirectioning. There's going to be a lot of new starts. There's nothing to fear. If you watch my other video this week, I talk a lot about fear. There's nothing to fear, but this is a chance for fresh starts. And there, as with any new birth of a new way of being, new life, birthing requires some labor pains in order to get that baby. So we're going through a lot of labor pains. We've had bushfires, we've had hysteria and coronavirus, popping up and so forth. We're in the labor pains, but it's going to result in a beautiful new baby, new life for all of humanity here. It's also equinox. Now, what is equinox? It happens twice a year, at the spring equinox or the autumn equinox, and that switches depending on which hemisphere that you are in. Like I said, we're currently in autumn equinox in the southern hemisphere and spring equinox in the northern hemisphere. What it means is that both day and night are equal. The sun is invisible. Darkness reigns for 12 hours of the day, and light, the sunlight, reigns for 12 hours of the day. A bit like the yin-yang symbol, equal components of shadow and light. Very much what equinox is all about, equal energies. So there's a real harmony, there's a real balance at equinox. I love autumn equinox because the weather in Australia is glorious. It's steady, it's calm, it's warm, not too cold, not too hot. It's just beautiful. And so we've got this beautiful harmony, this balance happening in the environment, certainly where I live anyhow, at the moment with the equinox energy. But what happens is the sun, it moves each year. It's kind of hard to explain. It doesn't work on the astrology wheel, but you've got the Tropic of Cancer, the equator, and underneath that, the Tropic of Capricorn. And each year, the sun at solstice will go as far as, say, the Tropic of Cancer or the Tropic of Capricorn, depending on which winter or summer solstice it happens to be. That's when we get our longest day or our longest night at solstice time, winter or summer. Now, when the sun in its annual trajectory right to Capricorn and then back to Cancer, to Capricorn, based on the angles of the Earth, on its trajectory back to, in this case, back to the Tropic of Cancer. It's at the equator now, so that's why things are equal. Okay, when it gets up to, it's on its way back from Tropic of Capricorn up to Tropic of Cancer. When it gets to Tropic of Cancer, it will be the summer summer solstice in the northern hemisphere and the winter solstice in the southern hemisphere. We'll have appropriately, shortest day and longest day depending on where we are in the world at that point. But right now, when the sun's trajectory is at the equator, we get equal. So that's the astronomy behind it, very simply, without diagrams. It would help if I had a diagram. I might work towards doing that next time we have an equinox. But that's what we are currently moving through. And after today, the sun will be moving ever so slowly up towards the Tropic of Cancer. Now, I did mention that this year in Chinese astrology is the year of the rat. What does that mean in Chinese astrology? Well, it's a year for working hard. The rat is the energy of hard work, working hard, but being meticulous, being thorough, and also being very systematic. And these are the approaches that we're going to need to take to our lives this year. Systematic, hard work, meticulous. The year, it's a metal rat year. The animals in Chinese astrology are broken down into metal, wood, water, earth, and fire, the elements. And this is a metal rat year. And so the metal rat gives a more emotional and sensitive approach to these things that I'm going to talk about, such as our hard work and our systematic approach. We're going to be a bit more sensitive, a bit more gentle, a bit more kind, a bit more emotional and connected to soul and spirit this year because of that. We need to watch out in any rat year for being a little bit ruthless sometimes, being a bit selfish. Now, that comes from within us, but it can also be happening around us in our environment. So do be aware, we might see a little bit more ruthlessness and selfishness, those who are carrying these energies at their lowest vibration, and it's up to us to work up and at the higher vibration and lift the energy of the planet in that way. So we can be a bit more charming. We can carry a bit more innovation. So certainly at this time in our world's history, we need to be innovative. How can we deal with these difficult situations, with difficult people, with financial upheaval, with, health issues? And so how can we be innovative with all of these things? The rat year is going to give us the prowess to do so, to be innovative. So this is the higher manifestation of rat energy to do this. It's a chance to excel in business for those of us who work in business, who have our own business, or for people who work for big corporate businesses or whatever. And we can excel in business by channeling this energy of innovation and hard work and charm, and also by being alert to opportunities, because the rat, if you think about the little rat as an animal, is very alert, sort of looking around and almost sort of consciously aware someone's behind it, so it'll take off, it's got eyes in the back of its head. So being alert to opportunities is very much the energy of a rat year as well. But we need to have our eyes open, can't have our head in the sand like an emu or an ostrich. We need to be open-eyed and ready for opportunities when they come. It makes us socially and mentally bright this year, so we might get a lot more social networking opportunities, and we'll be very bright in our energy. We do need to be careful in this rat year of getting a bit tangled up sometimes with sort of any emotional attachments, being too emotionally attached to something and bringing, letting that drag us down. Emotionally attached to people or to ideas or to ways of thinking or, our home or something. Let's try and detach a little from the emotional attachment, and we'll have a much better year because of that. The metal rat can be a little bit sensitive as well and sentimental. So there might be, let's say you're a mum and your children are old enough to be leaving home, and you might sort of have these emotional attachments like I just described to your children, and feeling very sentimental at this time because, you know, little Tommy is now grown up and gone off to study law, and you know, the home feels empty without him. So there's this sentimentality that can be around in the air at this time. And certainly as we're going through a birthing pain into a new life with a lot of change and a lot of different momentum as a collective, there can be a lot of sentimentality about what we had before, the way life used to be. Wasn't it nice back in the 50s when everyone dressed so beautifully, and you know, there was this economic prosperity, and you get sentimental and nostalgic. That can certainly come up this year, but I want to encourage you. Sentiment isn't all bad, by the way, but I want to encourage you to keep looking forward to what can be built. Be visionary, be progressive, and use that energy of innovation present in a rat year, instead of, you know, going down the rabbit hole of sentimentality that can sort of be saddening sometimes. But yeah, be sentimental in a good way. So it's a year when resourcefulness can actually overcome the blows that we receive. So, you know, we all have our upheavals and our times of challenge and difficulty, and certainly 2020 is no exception to that. 2020 is a challenging year for everybody on the planet, and I don't know about you, but I'm certainly feeling very tense within my energy field, within my body, as well as I pick up on all these energetic vibes around me that are less than stellar. The greed in the supermarkets, and the sort of grasping kind of energies, and the fear that's out there now. It's sort of, it's weighing down my very sensitive Piscean energy soul. But these blows of life, sorry, I've gone off on my own divergent track there, but the blows of life that we receive, such as not having enough toilet paper, or the blows of life such as, you know, losing your job, or you know, your car being in, you know, totaled in a crash or something, these sorts of things come to us all. How we react, how we move through these times in our life is very important and creates karma for us in the future, good, bad, or otherwise. So this is a year, the year of the rat, when our resourcefulness can be very advantageous in helping us overcome the blows of life. So you've got no toilet paper, it's all sold out in the supermarkets, and there's nothing. How can you employ your resourcefulness to get through this difficulty, this challenge in life? What can you create? What can you use? Use your ingenuity, use your innovation, and be resourceful. We might actually see a lot of really incredible inventions arise out of this particular challenging time of coronavirus fear and hysteria. So that's the year of the rat that can bring some opportunities out of these challenges. Now, just in brief, for those of you who don't know much about Chinese astrology and want to know a little bit of detail, the rat has a correlation to the sign of Sagittarius. So in Western astrology, in Vedic astrology also, if you understand the principles of the sign Sagittarius, that's really what a rat year correlates to. Although there are breakdowns of that, obviously, that correlate more to the elements that I spoke of a moment ago. But the rat is connected to the sign of Sagittarius. It's a male or masculine type energy, the energy of the rat. It's connected to winter, and its direction is connected to the north. So it's a north-facing year this year with a rat year in Chinese astrology. Now, I'm not going to go into a great deal of detail about what all those things mean. Those of us who are familiar with sort of the more occult principles will understand those things. But for the sake of time, because there's so much going on in the sky, I'm not going to break down all those things for you just at the moment. Now, on the 23rd of March, we're having another very interesting conjunction. And up until this point, everything's been okay. We've been fine. We've been getting along here. Everything's going to be all right. And then, boom, we hit this on the 23rd of March. A couple of things happening actually on the 23rd of March. This is the first one, first energy. Mars moving through Capricorn in exaltation, so good things there, joins with Pluto. Now this happens roughly every 2 years that we'll get a Mars connection with Pluto in the sky. But Pluto, Pluto represents a lot of things. And the reason people can get a bit fearful when Mars and Pluto come together is that Pluto is the energy of trauma and crisis, sometimes abuse and suffering as well. And Mars is the energy of violence, rage and anger. So if you're looking at the lower manifestations of these two energies, it can be like, you've just lit the gunpowder and everything explodes. That's the lower vibration. These energies also have a higher vibration, and that's where we want to direct our thoughts and our focus and our intent. Because we have free will in astrology. It is up to us how we enact these energies, and knowledge of astrology. This is what I love to share, knowledge of astrology. Knowledge of what's going on in the skies makes us go, aha, now I know why I feel angry and volatile. Mars and Pluto are together in the sky. You know what? I know this is an energy, and I'm going to consciously choose not to engage with that energy. Yes, I feel angry at my boss right now, or my son or my daughter right now. You know what? I'm going to remove myself from this situation so that I don't channel this lower, angry, aggressive, violent, whatever energy. Knowledge is power. And that's why I love astrology. It gives us knowledge to overcome. Because we know what's going on, we can see, we detach, we observe, we go, right, I know what's happening here, and I'm going to be bigger than this energetic influence. So what's going to be happening? What does this combination of Mars and Pluto mean for us? Well, firstly, both these planets have a connection to sex and sexuality. Pluto's very androgynous, and Mars is the young man, the young male, the masculine, virile, desire energy. So there can be, because these two are coming together, there can be a big increase in our general sex drive and our desire for sex and to experience sex. But this is going to happen because of the androgyny of Pluto. You might find that that's happening in ways you're not usually familiar with, So there can be all sexes, all sexual expressions, LGBTIQ kind of stuff can be seen and felt more strongly within individuals right now. So you might try polyamory or something, or you might you might switch it up a bit with what you're usually attracted to. That kind of stuff can be expressing a bit more at this time. There's a more of an increase now in ambition, power, hunger, ruthlessness. Again, this is the more lower manifesting side of this energy, so do be careful if you notice yourself feeling more ruthless, like I'm going to get them, I'm going to get revenge, I'm going to be ruthless about how I pummel them in the court, or I'm going to, stomp all over that co-worker because I want that promotion. That ruthlessness, that vigor of energy in the negative sense is something to be aware of, and when we observe it out in the world, in our politicians and in our business leaders and so on, don't be surprised this week if we see ruthlessness, grasping, power hungriness, especially because of everything that's been going on. The markets are shaky now. The financial situation, and we're going to talk a bit more about this next week when we talk about Pluto conjunct with Jupiter, but there's a lot of volatility out there now financially on the stock market and with banking and so on. And of course, when this happens, what happens to these sort of very narcissistic CEOs and bosses and ruthless sort of political leaders that we have? They grasp, they want more power, more control, because it feels like the rug's going to be pulled out from under them. So don't be surprised when this energy unfolds if you see a bit of grasping, a bit of ruthlessness unfolding around you. I want to encourage you, know where it's coming from and be bigger than that energy. Be bigger than it. Default to greater things. So you can keep selfishness and willfulness at a minimum by being more independent now. Mars is the energy of independence. I'm not saying you have to remove yourself from situations, but by being independent in the way you think, don't just follow the crowd, don't be a sheep, don't go into mass hysteria like everybody else. Think independently, act independently, be self-sufficient, be a pioneer. Use the higher energies of Mars for this, and it will help Cultivate endurance. That's going to help as well. Have a mindset of, I'm going to endure these challenges that I'm experiencing in my life, or that I'm seeing around me. I'm just going to persevere and endure. Mars is it's the sprinter. It's not the marathon runner enduring for a long period of time, but it does have a level of endurance for the sprint. So see this as a bit of a sprint. I'm going to endure through this process, through this week, until then Mars moves on, okay? Have the sprinter process, knowing that it's just a short time and you can sprint through this with a bit of endurance. And another way we can keep this grasping selfishness and power hungriness at bay in our own personal lives is to instigate some sort of big life changes that can transform. The reason this is the case is that Mars represents instigation, starting something. Again, it's it rules Aries, so it's tied into that new energy we spoke of with the new astrological year unfolding. So Mars is the instigator, it's creative, likes to start new things. So one of the ways you can challenge or change the energy that's here is by instigating something new in your life that's going to cause a transformation. Pluto is transformations. So you might instigate a new diet, and that's going to transform your body. A new exercise routine. Mars is connected to exercise. That will transform your state of well-being and your muscle tone. Transformation. You might like to instigate, studying a new course part-time, perhaps do one of the Astrological courses so that you can learn something new, and that's going to transform your knowledge and understanding in some way. So instigate something into your life that will ultimately transform your life, your experience, your body, your health, your mental capacity, anything. By instigating something new into your life that will ultimately transform you, you're channeling the higher energies of Pluto conjunct with Mars. And that's really what we would prefer to see, rather than greed and grasping and desire for control, and ruthlessness and so on. So as I said, it's a big year for new beginnings. It's a number 1 year. The sun's going into Aries this week. A year of rat energy. It's an energy energy is going to come to us for new projects this week, new ideas, new instigations, new power, new ability to transform. So we might see new power structures rising up now with this energy in the world and in our own life. We might take back our own personal power. Mars is the personal, the self. Pluto is power. We might be able to, in many ways, take back our personal power over this mob mentality, this hysteria. That could happen this week. We might be able to take back our personal power in some other realm of life that transforms how we continue to proceed through 2020. And we certainly need to have a very visionary approach and a big picture approach. There's Jupiter tying in not too far away either, giving us the big picture approach with regard to how this year is going to unfold. Also, on this day, the 23rd of March, we're having a big event occur. And I don't know about you, but I've been like, thank God this is happening. Ask me again in 3 years how I feel about what's going on, what's starting on the 23rd this year. And I'll probably have a different response for you. But this week, Saturn is moving out of Capricorn into Aquarius. It's the first time in 29 years that he's been there. This is a new phase. And depending on what house Aquarius happens to be for you will also tell you what you can expect over the coming 3 roughly years that Saturn's going to be moving through this area of the chart. Now, Saturn will move into Aquarius. He's going to stay here until July. And after that, he will retrograde back into the sign of Capricorn. So it's just a little bit of a blip, a taster, to whet your appetite for what's to come from sort of December onwards, when he moves permanently into the sign of Aquarius. This is such a big event. Saturn's movement of signs just influences us personally and in the collective so profoundly. I can't talk about everything and how it will affect each of us here in this video. It would go for hours. What I have done is I am currently running a series on my YouTube channel all about Saturn's transits through each house. So we're moving through one a week every Sunday. I will discuss Saturn's transit through the 3rd house, through the 4th house, through the 5th house, for 12 weeks. So we're already two episodes into this series. If you want to catch up, if you want to subscribe so you can get notification also of Saturn moving through your particular house, wherever he is currently by transit for you at the moment, do tune in with that series. We're going to explore every house, so no one's going to miss out, and that's happening over the next couple of weeks. So do check that out, because it's too much information for me to go into here in one video. I go very in depth looking at what that's going to mean personally for us all. So that's happening on the 23rd. We're going to experience a shift, a change coming from Saturn, and certainly that could be quite interesting during these fascinating times that we're living through right now. We're going to find that Saturn will be very close to making a square to Uranus. There's only about 3 degrees difference. Now that's going to be something of a challenge. So we might find some changes occurring financially in the world because of this, structurally in the world because of this, with regard to the more fixed systems in the world. Things are going to go through a bit of upheaval, I feel, because of this. But as I've often tell people, I'm not a mundane astrologer. Just keep an eye on the news. We're going to see a lot of shifts happening when Saturn goes into Aquarius until July. So if you're a financial astrologer, this is going to be a very interesting time. There's a lot of financial things coming into play here. I know a little of financial astrology, and at the moment Saturn is at the 29th degree of Capricorn up until the 23rd, sorry, lost my train of thought, up until the 23rd of March. When you have a planet like Saturn at the 29th degree of Capricorn, just happens to be one of the financial degrees in the horoscope, then we can see some shifts occurring financially when it leaves that financial degree. It's a degree of greater wealth, big money, and so there might, as he leaves this degree, then we might see some shifts and some changes with regard to big money and where that goes in the world. So if you're interested in a financial astrology reading, I can certainly do that for you. But back to what else is happening in the sky. On the 24th of March, we are looking at a beautiful period. I've been looking forward to this. So just to recap briefly, everything's looking pretty good this week. Although this volatility, this challenge, this upheaval is still in the air, we need to just watch out for the 23rd when we've got Saturn shifting signs and we've got Pluto Mars conjunction, okay? But then on the 24th, the day after, just in the nick of time for many of us, eclipse activation occurs. The north node of the moon, which is in Cancer, where are we? Over here, will be moving to 3 degrees of Cancer. This is the degree that the eclipse on December the 26th took place on, the sun and moon. From recollection, I think it was a new moon eclipse that took place here at this point. And when the nodes catch up with the point that the either new moon or full moon took place, the degree that it took place, when the nodes hit on that point, we get activation. And that's what's occurring on the 24th. Eclipse activation is unfolding. I'm excited. This eclipse in December was a beautiful eclipse. It was light-filled. It was full of promise and blessing and hope and potential. Unlike the one that happened 2 weeks later, that was a bit more heavy-duty, bit more difficult. This one was a blessed eclipse. And so we're going to see if there was any planet aligning with 3 degrees of Cancer or Capricorn in your chart. You stand to receive now the activation of this eclipse energy and the potential blessing and promise that this eclipse brought. Now, I have my Venus at 5 degrees of Cancer, so 2 degrees away from this. That is close enough. That is within orb to receive some kind of blessing from this eclipse activation. So for me, with Venus, it might be something to do with love. It might be something to do with money. It might be something to do with pleasure and fun and resources, things that Venus is tied to. It might be to do with beauty. There might be something that unfolds in my life regarding those things that Venus rules generally, or wherever Venus, whatever Venus happens to rule personally in my chart. In my case, it's to do with the 3rd house, learning and so forth, and the 8th house. So the activation will correlate to either the 3rd house or the 8th house or Venus things for me. Now, I would be here all day if I went into each planet and the potential for what that planet might happen to rule in your individual chart. So I cannot say exactly what realm you might notice this eclipse activation playing out in. Just know that if you had a manifestation point at around 3 degrees of Cancer or Capricorn, or you have a planet at around 3 degrees of Capricorn or Cancer, you can get ready for a bit of eclipse activation in the coming week around the 24th. So this could be very exciting for you, very beneficial for you, depending on the dignity of your planet and so forth. But get ready for some shifts and some changes that could really help you along in life, or else give you a good kick in the pants to get you where the universe wants you to be, which is the purpose of an eclipse. So that's really the energy of this week. Now, because I've done 2 astro weather reports because the energy is so intense this week, there's more information in my second video, my other video. But I am going to do a quick run through of all signs, and we're going to, because I want to keep things positive and upbeat at the moment, I do want to look at the energy of the new beginning. Where does Aries fall in your chart that's giving you the energy of a new beginning this week? Where can you focus your mind, your heart, your intent in order to create something new and innovative? So for Aries people, this energy of new beginnings is falling in your 1st house. It is quite possible that this year there is going to be some new change in direction for you regarding your life if you are Aries rising, sun or moon. So you might change direction quite significantly this year, because remember, this is a 1 year, a new beginning year, a starting year. And so for Aries people, when it's falling in the 1st house of the journey of this incarnation, this lifetime that you're on, your journey might take a new beginning, take a fresh start. You might be starting university, fresh out of high school, starting university. You might get married this year. You might move into your own home this year, or build a new home, or shift overseas. But in some way, there will be a brand new start for your journey in this incarnation that you are on. Your life, as it unfolds, is going to have a significant new start this year. This year, a 1 year, a year of the rat year. For Taurus people, Aries is your 12th house. So this is an area of new beginnings for you, and this is the house of spirituality and retreat and escape. So there might be some new maybe a new idea that comes to you, new creative download from the divine that comes to you that you can utilize this year, new innovation in this year of the rat, this 1 year of new beginnings, new starts, fresh incarnations, fresh beginnings. So it might be, this is a house of karma. It might be that you get a whole new, fresh, clean sheet of paper to write your karma on. You've absolved through all your good hard work and processing and self-analysis and so forth, purging and releasing and therapy. You may have absolved your karma, and you get a whole new chance to sow some good karmic seeds this year in the house of karma. You get new creative downloads, new spiritual ideas, new spiritual epiphanies that occur for you. New chances for healing. New chances to restore your soul in some way. New chances to dissolve unwanted energies out of your life. This is the house of disillusion, and you're getting something new with regard to disillusion. So chance to address some sort of maybe new karmic energy that comes up in you didn't even realize was there, and you get a chance to dissolve that throughout the year ahead. So new beginnings for you occurring in this 1 year, number 1 year of new starts, year of the rat in your 12th house. For Gemini rising people, Aries falls as the 11th house, and in the year of the rat, which is a number 1 year, new beginnings, new starts, new initiations, this is falling in the 11th house. You might get new visions, new dreams, new goals this year. You might start with, this year might bring you some new ambition that you'd never even thought could be a thing, and suddenly it manifests and you get an opportunity to start on some new path for creating money. This is a house of receiving money from our work and our career. It's the second house from the 10th, our career, our legacy. So the money we receive from those things, you might get a new opportunity in some new realm to develop some rewards and gains, 11th house. Also new friendships that might open up for you in a big way this year, in a year of the rat, a 1 year, a new beginning year. There might be you'll have a lot more charm in a year of the rat year, and so this charm and this sort of social and mentally bright energy of the year of the rat can really connect you well with other people and creating new friendship circles and new opportunities to be part of groups and so forth. And as a Gemini person, you'll love that because you're very social when you're a Gemini, generally speaking, unless there's other factors in the chart inhibiting that. So that's what we'll be seeing with this energy of the rat year beginning for you now in the 11th house. Cancer rising people, remember I spoke to you, Cancer and Gemini also, you've got this outward focus, this focus on the masses, society, being out in the world with all the planets sitting above the horizon. And for Cancer rising people, the energy begins in your 10th house. So this is where you're going to start by instigating something new. The year of the rat is a 1 year. It's about new beginnings, instigating something, starting something fresh. So in this year, you're going to have, a good sense of hard work, a good work ethic, an ability to be very systematic and meticulous, like I spoke about earlier in the introduction. And you're going to be able to throw yourself into some sort of legacy that you want to create or endeavor that you want to achieve, something you want to be known for. Very much the nature of the 10th house. You might even have some new bosses come your way this year because of this energy in the rat year, a 1 year, new starts with bosses, new starts with maybe a new legacy that you want to leave the world. You always thought you wanted to be Vincent van Gogh, and now you know what? You get a new, fresh idea, a new approach, you change your direction, you think, hey, I want to be the next Mozart and create wonderful symphonies and, orchestral pieces and what have you, piano pieces. And you go in that direction instead. So there can be a new invigorated approach in a year of the rat year to the legacy that you hope to leave the world. Now, if you're Leo rising, well, this energy is beginning for you in your 9th house. So this year you might get a brand new 1 year, year of the rat year, of new starts, new approaches, invigorated energy, being directed towards what you study, what you learn. You might suddenly find that you desire to learn, astrology and do one of the Astrological courses and or do one of my webinars. And you want to learn a bit more about higher level thinking, astrological thinking or scientific thinking or philosophical thinking, getting stuck into those sorts of things, and you'll get this new invigorated desire to start that. Or it could be you've discovered new gurus, new inspirational figures that can be people that you uphold as great leaders on your journey. This is also a house of luck. It's a house of Dharma. And so for you Leo rising people, this year of the rat energy might give you a whole new approach to your Dharma. You might even discover your Dharma this year, what your purpose is, what your mission is in life. You might get a chance to be innovative with your Dharma. Now, I want to point out, I can't tell you what your Dharma is here in this video and what your life purpose is and what your mission is, because I would be here all day. But you will get an invigorated sense of Dharma this year in a year of the rat year. And you'll be very hard working towards understanding what your Dharma is and applying it to your life. You'll be meticulous about really coming to grips with starting some new purpose, new mission in life. And you'll be very fortunate around that as well this year in the year of the rat. So that is Leo rising. Just to recap quickly, you will be having new starts and fresh beginnings in this year of the rat in Chinese horoscope with regard to inspirational figures, with regard to new learnings, new opportunities to learn things, your Dharma, but also I should add as well, cultural experiences. You guys this year in the year of the rat might get new opportunities for travel that you haven't had before. That might come your way, or even just invest in some sort of cultural experiences that you haven't really had the opportunity to do so before. So now Virgo. Well, this year of the rat year, if you happen to be a Virgo rising person, begins for you in the 8th house. So if you're an Aries is your 8th house, and it's a year of the rat year. The year of the rat year is a 1 year, that is in numerology a 1 year, which is starting something, beginning something, instigating things. So for you guys, this year of the rat year might see you starting something to do, to do with shamanism or, occult practices, energy healing, metaphysics. You might start researching and studying that this year in a new way and take it to a new level. You might have a new opportunity with regard to other people's money. Let's say you might get a job at a local council managing their parks and gardens, and you are handling community resources as seen by the 8th house as well. So there might be a new opportunity for you to involve yourself in that kind of thing. This is a year for new beginnings. This could also mean a new year sexually for you. You might find a new sexual partner, or you might intimacy might go to new depths and new levels for you with your current existing partner. And so new beginnings for you are available this year in this year of the rat, beginning with your 8th house energy, which is all these things. So the next sign, Libra, as I mentioned a moment ago, Libra sees all the planets falling in the hemisphere of fate. Destiny is playing out for you at the moment, Libra people. This is very powerful. And for you in this year of the rat, a year that is a 1 year in numerology, new beginnings, new starts are going to occur for you in the field of connections and relationships, harmony, balance. So you might get new opportunities to rebalance your life, to harmonize your life in some way, to create sort of equilibrium between work and between play, between your children and your lover, between yourself, time for you and time for others. There's going to be new opportunities to balance those scales, Libra, and it will happen through destiny, through fate for you guys. Fated experiences that allow you to rebalance, reharmonize. You can also, in this year of the rat, new beginnings, you might experience new beginnings in terms of a marriage. You might experience new beginnings in terms of a business partnership that comes your way. Some sort of contractual, agreed relationship situation that is seen by a 7th house energy. So year of the rat, new beginnings, and you'll be very meticulous and hardworking, even a bit systematic about your approach to these experiences. You might also have a lot of charm at this time. Year of the rat is a charming year, and so there can be a lot of charm in your interactions with your clients, with the general public. This is the house of the general public. With your partner and business partners, there's a lot of charm that can unfold here, and you might be seen as a very charming type person as well. Lots of resourcefulness that you'll have, that you can overcome the impacts of life with, that you can use in sort of any type of connected endeavors, contractual endeavors. You'll have a lot of resourcefulness and innovation with regard to contracts this year, and this is a house connected to business and business partnerships, so you can actually be very you can get a lot of opportunities come your way this year for good collaborations and collaborate and lift you and your business and your practice to a higher level. So very fated but wonderful new beginnings in store for Libra this year. If you're Scorpio rising, there we are, my little rising arrow. If you're Scorpio rising, you can use Sun or Moon if you would like to as well. In fact, look at all three. There's no harm in looking at all three and getting the information for all three. But the Scorpio rising sign sees this energy of the sun moving into Aries, falling in your 6th house if you're Scorpio. So it's a year of the rat. It's a 1 year, like a numerological 1 year, meaning new beginnings, new starts, instigating new things, fresh, turning over a new leaf kind of stuff. Here in the 6th house, you will be able to work hard, be meticulous, very detail oriented, and get really something out of it this year. Fresh starts with work, fresh starts with health, fresh starts with diet and exercise, fresh start with your daily routine. So a lot of benefit coming to you in the year of the rat in that realm, in the realm of health and well-being and diet. So you'll be able to, from the beginning of this year, from now on, you'll be able to, be socially, mentally, and bright. You'll be able to channel the energy of seeing opportunities to fix things, to write things, to make things good. That's the energy of the 6th house. It's a desire to fix things. And then when we get to the 7th house, it's to have balance. So we're fixing things first and then the balance comes. So your inner energy, or the beginning of this year, starts for you with a focus on fixing problems in your life, rectifying things, sorting things out. So it's a good idea to focus your intent in that regard to fixing problems and resolving issues. New diet, like I said, new exercise routine, new pet even. A 1 year sees new beginnings in all these realms. If we're Sagittarius rising, well, you guys, the year of the rat corresponds to your sign. So it's really quite an important year for you, because the year of the rat is all about your energy. So for you guys, this is kind of special. And it's a 1 year in numerology. And a 1 is the energy of new beginnings, new starts, instigations, and turning over a fresh leaf. So for you, this is all starting down here in your 5th house. So this is a great place to start the year. It's about pleasure and love and joy. Where are you getting your joy from? You might get new opportunities for joy that begin now. New opportunities to express yourself creatively. New ideas for creative manifestation that occur to you now. New chance to, in the year of the rat, to work hard and be meticulous about your hobbies, about the things that you like to express to the world. So you'll find you'll get lots of creative downloads, lots of creative inspiration, and you'll be willing to work hard in the year of the rat to manifest these new ideas and creative endeavors that come to you. So there's a real chance to, if you're doing something creative as a business or something creative as, your source of income for life, you'll actually be able to excel now by channeling this energy and being open to opportunities that present themselves. And you will find in this lucky house in the horoscope, opportunities will present themselves to you from starting from now as the sun begins to move through Aries. And in this 1 year, new opportunities that you might never have seen before, new collaborations, new new chances for joy and new chances for self-expression in some way that come your way starting from now. So yay, exciting times for Sagittarian people. And for you guys too, as you can see, all the planets are falling in the southern hemisphere of the chart. What this means is that you might be spending more time alone, introspectively, doing work in your own, like say you work from home and you've got a home office and you're just there all the time a bit more, and you're not so much out in the world promoting, your latest symphony or something. You're out there, you're more of a year of writing a new symphony, channeling those creative downloads into your work, your creative expression, and being more inwardly home, internally focused now rather than putting it out there. So a year for working hard internally on your creative endeavors and self-expression this year for Sagittarian people. For Capricorn people, the energy begins for you in the 4th house. Now, the year of the rat is a 1 numerological year, meaning new beginnings, new start, fresh, turning over a new leaf, and being able to instigate new things. And so this is in the home, and so you're going to feel this energy first of all in your home environment. The year of the rat, fresh start energy. So you will be able to innovate in your home. You'll probably bring a lot of charm and beauty to your home. You might feel, that you want things more meticulous, more clean and tidy now with this energy in your beginning in your 4th house of home. And the rat's a very meticulous energy, so you might, want all the electrical cords sort of bundled up out of sight, and you'll be a bit meticulous about that sort of thing, getting rid of the dust off the piano and so forth. Be very important to you this year. So more meticulousness in the year of the rat, directed to starting with the home energy field, or the home energy sphere rather, if you're a Capricorn person. If you work from home, then from now on, this can be actually a really good chance to excel in business, and opportunities can come your way. From 22nd of March, this can start playing out for you. And so this energy of new beginnings can give you, the capacity to work harder. Even if you're working from home, it can give you the chance to innovate your home in some way, or redesign, or give you a new beginning in your home. Let's say you do work from home and you haven't had a home office, well, you might get a new start with regard to your work from home by buying a little bungalow that you can stick in the backyard and use for your office or something. So new beginnings, new fresh starts regarding your home and domestic environment. It could even look like suddenly you hire a helper to come in and clean your house because you're just too busy, and so you get a new domestic support in some way. So a year of new beginnings correlating to the home environment and sometimes the family environment as well, that starts from now with equinox and the sun moving into Aries. Aquarius energy. The year of the rat is a 1 numerological energy, and we're moving into, currently the sun is moving into the 1st sign of the horoscope, so there's a lot of 1 energy abounding now from this week onwards. What this means is that you will be turning over new leaves, making fresh starts, instigating new things and new ideas and creativity into your life. It's a year of new beginnings. So it's in for you, the 3rd house. You might be studying something new, learning some new skill. You might have new relationship with your siblings in some way that unfolds throughout this year beginning now. You might also have a new innovative idea for a home-based business to be able to work for yourself. The third house is working for yourself. Having it's the money that we earn through our own endeavors, through our own talents, through our own abilities. And so you might start a new business this year, in this first year, a numerological 1 year of the rat. So for Aquarius rising people, this is good news. And I just want to say, you guys, Saturn getting out of your 12th house, yay, good news there too. That's occurring around this time as well. So that'll be kind of like, feel like a bit like a weight off your shoulders in some senses, but it'll give this energy of the rat is going to give you some new innovative ideas around business and trade and ways you can make money, as well as skills you can put to good use in your life, you know, talents and abilities that you can practically rely on and depend on. So beautiful energy for you guys. At last, some wonderful good news for redirectioning your life in a positive way, in a way that's going to bring you a lot of blessing. So that starts for you in the third house, this energy of the year of the rat. Now for Pisces people, the year of the rat, this first energy, numerological 1 energy, which is an energy of new starts, new beginnings, innovations, sort of initiating new things, falls for you in the house of resources and self-love. And so you can expect that in this year of the rat, all about new beginnings and new starts, financially it's going to be a very new year for you. You know, how you get remunerated, the possessions that you have, it's going to take on a new tone. So I'm not saying you're going to get a new job, but you might find that, you know, you might get a pay rise, or, you know, something is going to shift and you'll have like a clean sheet of paper, a new start with the money that you make or how you're making money. The ability to have pleasurable times, good food, nice, comfortable surroundings, which are all second house things, that is going to shift for you. And starting from this week, when the sun moves into the sign of Aries and we begin our astrological new year for 2020. So the focus this month goes to your second house, and in the year of the rat there'll be some sort of new beginning in those realms. Maybe also because it's a house of self-love and our values, how we value the self, you'll see yourself in a new light, Pisces. You'll respect yourself more. Pisces, I can vouch for the fact, not very good at putting boundaries in place. And so when the sun shifts into Aries, suddenly we might find we have the power to put boundaries in place that need to happen in order to honor the self, to love the self. No, you'll not walk across my fresh new lawn that I've planted. I'm putting a literal boundary in place so that doesn't happen. No, you'll not trample all over my heart and treat me like shit. I'm putting a figurative boundary in place between you and I. You know, the boundaries now can instigate a new start that happens in the life of a Pisces person, usually concerning their self-worth and self-value, and concerning their possessions and things. Now, with the sun in the final few degrees of Pisces, I don't know about you, but for me, everything's been going missing. I am losing things. Sun in the sign of Pisces, to lose stuff. You know, my headphones for my phone, lost my car keys, lost my comb to do my hair this morning. You know, it is one thing after another, and I'm like, right, I love Pisces, but for God's sake, get out of Pisces, please, Sun, and get into Aries quick. I want a new start where I'm not losing things anymore. So, silly story there. But the sun moving into the second house means fresh starts, new beginnings regarding financial situations for Pisces people. And in this year of the rat, a new beginning year, we're going to be more alert to opportunities. We're going to see opportunities to make money as they come to us. We'll be willing to work hard in this year at instigating new things in our life, particularly beginning with how we make our money. We're going to be more meticulous, more systematic, and it all starts from this week. So this is a year, as I said in the intro, when resourcefulness can overcome the challenges of life. So you can expect that that's going to begin the opportunity to be resourceful regarding that lost comb to do your hair. That's going to be an opportunity that comes your way starting from this week. Being more resourceful with how you make money and where the money comes from. So thanks so much for joining me for this whiz through. Just let that go to rest. Whiz through all the signs and how the astrological new year might begin for you, where the focus is going to be. I want to thank you for joining me for this video, and I want to wish you all the love in the world as you navigate these hairy times energetically. But no, we are in the labor pains, as I said in the intro. We are being born into a new state of being as a collective, as humanity on planet Earth. And I find that utterly thrilling, utterly exciting. So enjoy. Let's close with a prayer. Energy of love and grace, thank you for being present with us through this week. Help us to ride out this bit of a roller coaster that we're in right now with regard to the energies that are in making conjunctions and aspects throughout the week ahead. Help us to be wise and mature as we deal with those energies. And help us to channel the highest vibration possible so that we can be a blessing to other people and that we can be blessed in our journey on this planet, in this incarnation also. And so it is. Well, thanks for joining me. I'll have another video for you next week.